you're having an emotional reaction to a power asymmetry, right? Like the institution and thus the professor have power to determine your future. You're a little powerless in that way, and they're setting bars that the input to those bars are literally, you control some of that input, but you don't control all of it, right? Like you don't control what questions are going to be on, or then if you just have like a bad day or whatever, like it's really not fair in that way, right? And so, you know, there's that's a whole discussion that we can kind of use as leverage as we go on in the development of this project. But right now I would focus in on the performance aspect of this. And I like to think about in the study of habits. So there's the scientific study of habits. One of the things that comes up in a lot of the reading that I've done is it's actually not a good strategy to focus on a previous habit as a way to get rid of that habit. So another way to say that is if you have a negative perspective, like don't think this way, right? Like, so don't think of a pink elephant. You've probably heard that one before, right? So whatever you do, don't imagine a big fat pink elephant. But what happens in your mind when you hear that?
Pink elephant.
Yeah, right? So then what's happening is when you say don't think blah, 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 what's in your mind is the blah, 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 and it ends up reinforcing that narrative. A much better way to do it is so I would call that a reactive approach, right? The thing comes up and then you react to it. And that's useful in non-emergency situations, right? So like if I see a hot stove and then before I put my hand on the hot stove, I'm not in an emergency and I think don't put my hand on the hot stove. That's a nice thing because I've avoided that, right? But if my hand's already in the fucking flame, like it's not a useful thing for me to say, like, don't put your hand in the flame, right? Because my hand's already in the flame. It's a much more useful thing to like react in a different way. And so one of the things, let me not talk about you, Steve, because I think what we'll do is I'm going to give you some ideas and then I'm going to have you process it and reflect back to me and then see if you can construct your own thought from this. So two ideas come up.